Hey girls, are you excited to learn all about Seint and how to highlight and contour and what makes this makeup so magical? I don't have earrings on or anything. I literally just woke up from a nap. So forgive me. Let me know once you're here. I'm trying to see if I have some earrings, some cute earrings in here, but I don't think I do. It's okay. Let me know once you're here. Hi Lisa. Oh my gosh, I just woke up from a nap. Literally, like, I set my alarm and I was like, because I had my 4-hour, you guys, 4-hour physical therapy. It's like a work conditioning program because I've been out for 3 years with knee surgeries and stuff, and I am just wiped out. Like, when I get home, I'm just like wiped, ready for bed. But I'm here. I woke up. I'm here. I'm so excited to show you guys all about Seint and what makes it so great. So before we get started, I want to show you our compact system. So this is a triple decker. This is my personal well, it used to be called a triple decker. Now we call it palette 27 because it holds 27 full-size tints. So this is my big mama makeup compact, and these are all fully customizable. Okay, so this is the colors that I love. These are my highlights and contours and some illuminator. Hi Beth. These are all my powders, so my eyeshadows and some powder illuminators that I sometimes use as eyeshadows as well, and then a whole bunch of different lip and cheek color options. So this is my personal makeup compact. Obviously, this is way more choices than you probably would need or want when you're first starting out, but that's where I can help you. So if you fill out the color match form, that is in the announcements of our group here. There's a link there for the color match form. If you fill that out, then I'll give you my custom recommendations for your skin tone. So then that way you can get started with the colors that are going to look good on you. It's just a quick little form. Fill that out and I will get that back to you. I have one more to do right after this, and then I'll work on whoever else. So the size that I recommend when you're first starting out is this smaller size. So there's all different colors and you can choose which one you like. And that's it. All the tins pop in and out. This is a St. Patrick's Day look that I did, but everything goes in magnetically and pops in and out. So you can, hard to do that while you're on camera, but so you can totally customize this every day different if you want. You can put them in once you have like some more color options. I know that that's important for a lot of people to have some options, especially me. I love having options too. Okay, so that is everything that you need to know about the compacts. One of the main key really products that we have is our brushes. The brushes are incredible. They were made specifically for this cream product so that they can apply it exactly where it needs to go, blend. They are by far the best brushes I've ever used. I can't wait to show them to you. Okay, so the key is to start with a moisturized face, but give it some time to like really soak in. So if you're gonna put your moisturizer on, do it in the morning, like when you first get up. Give it like a half hour to like soak in so that way you're all ready to go. Okay. I'm trying to share the video, but I don't know how. I don't know how either. I think that because it's a private group, you can't share it. You just have to tag people. Lisa. Okay, so I'm gonna start with a primer today. I don't always, but I will today. This is the one that I like. It's Tatcha, the Silk Canvas. This is the liquid version, but there are all different kinds of primers, and you don't even really have to use one. Personally, I just like the way that it makes my skin feel, and I have kind of larger pores, so I feel like these kind of help to give me an even canvas and sort of, prep everything to make sure that the makeup looks great. So as you can see, I have rosacea. That's the redness in my cheeks. But this makeup is magic, literal magic. Hi, Katie. Literal magic for our skin. It will completely disappear. We don't have to worry about it. If you have rosacea or any kind of skin issues, conditions, problems, don't worry. The coverage here is amazing in every highlight shade, which is what you would probably know as foundation. Every one of them has color corrector in them, like all built in. So, you don't have to worry about having to do like multiple steps in order to get the coverage. Okay, so let's get started, okay? So I like to start with this is our buff brush, and check our clearance tab because I think we still have, so our old branding was called mascara, and this is a mascara brush. It just has a little bit different coloring and different bristles, but they're the same brush. It's just this one has white bristles and kind of like a champagne rose gold. There's really not a huge difference, but this buff brush is on clearance for 40% off. So check that while that's still available because that's such a great deal. So if you are like me and you have rosacea, isn't it cool that primer kind of like diffuses it a little bit? I love that primer. If you have rosacea or any melasma, skin conditions that you are wanting to kind of camouflage, we're gonna do that as a first step. Everyone else, if you don't have issues like that, you're not gonna do this step. I'll show you where you're gonna start next. So I like to use this buff brush on the smaller end, and I use this color called Aspen. So Aspen is actually a contour, but it has like, I don't even actually know what the undertones are in there, but it literally, I call it a magic eraser because I just kind of press it on over my rosacea, all my redness, and it just evens out that tone. So that gives me like a nice, even canvas so that I can start with the first step, which is our contour. When I don't start with this Aspen first, it's really hard for me to see where to put the contour because I have so much redness. So this I like to do first. I don't do it every day, but I do like to do it first on days, especially when my redness is in action. The buff brush and the powder brush are both in there. Which one is better for highlighting? The buff brush. The powder brush, I'll show you the powder brush in the end. It's awesome, and there are people who use it for like their all over foundation highlight shades. Let's see, where is it? It has like, these are, I don't know if you can tell, it's like more of like a flat bristle, but it's made to like go into our crevices. Like that's how you're gonna press your powder in. It can be used for the other ones, but it doesn't have as much like density. So it's a little bit harder to get like the kind of coverage that you're hoping for. You can, but I like that one. I only really use it for powder. So it's up to you though. I mean, most of these brushes can be used for multiple things. Okay, so we're just gonna continue kind of just stippling on. Stippling means like pressing this into our skin over any areas of redness. So then that way we have, can you tell how evenly it's like just erasing all of my redness. It's so awesome. And you don't even need a lot. This is a contour color, but you don't need a lot. What's awesome is the contour and the highlight shades together make our 3D foundation. So that the contour has coverage just like our foundation has coverage. So you don't have to worry about, like, you don't have to put a whole layer of your highlight shade on first and then put your contour, because both of those things have coverage. So you just put them where they need to go and then you blend them in. I like to do my forehead if you are someone who struggles with having larger pores, like me, this step is really awesome. It really just fills in those pores. So you don't have to, like, it just really makes them like disappear. Not all the way. Obviously, we're still gonna have texture in our skin. That's the point though. This makeup is gonna allow your skin to move and look like skin does. You know, it's not gonna make it be cakey and, gross, like sometimes our liquids can do. Okay, see? It's like I don't even have like rosacea anymore. Just one little step. So if you are someone who struggles with redness or rosacea, this is gonna change your whole world. Okay, so that is, now that we're back to like where you'd be if you don't have any of those skin conditions that I mentioned before. So everyone else is gonna start with contour. For contouring, I like to use this detail brush. It has a flat edge, so it really can carve into our cheekbones. It's amazing. Okay, so I want you to take like a mental note. See how, I mean, I do have like even skin now, but you can't see any kind of definition where my cheekbone is or my jawline. I have a fuller face, but that's where this magic makeup comes in, okay? So our contour is going to add shadows where they naturally are. If I didn't have a full face, I would have like a natural shadow right underneath my cheekbone. So since I don't have that, we're gonna create it. So the first step is to put your, I like to you can tell in my contour here that there's like a little place, because I go like this and like stipple it into that just so I can get it on this edge. Okay, and then you're gonna feel over on the side. If you can't see it, you're gonna feel on the side of your face for your actual cheekbone. And the key here is to remember, we're trying to lift our features. So you don't want to place this color too low. That'll make you look like you're sunken in. So I like to say, like, start here where your ear is, and instead of doing the trajectory down to like where your lip is, we're gonna do it over to like under where our nose is. So try to remember that when you're putting your contour on. That'll help make sure that you're lifting all your features. Okay, so you're gonna feel for your cheekbone, and then you're gonna place this just right at the base of your cheekbone. So I like to go right here. I put a lot on there so that you can like actually see, but I'm really just lightly pressing this color, and I'm following my natural cheekbone until I get to the center like color portion of my eye. Okay, so you're gonna stop there. You're not gonna go inside. And I'm not gonna blend this in until the end so that you can see the placement of everything. In fact, most of the time when I do my makeup, I still do it this way. I like to, this is where the paint by numbers comes in. Like this is our first step, okay? So now we have contour there. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. We can feel our actual cheekbone, and then you're gonna just follow that along. I didn't put as much on this side, so we gotta put a little bit more. What's amazing about this is everything is insanely blendable. So if you mess up or think you've messed up, don't worry, it's all gonna blend out. You don't have to worry about anything, literally. Just wait. That's one of the magic steps, okay? So I love to have a lot of contour. I love it. This is like really carving out, creating such an amazing canvas. Okay. I don't know why, but I'm always nervous about contouring, so don't. No, Katie, you gotta do it. It makes such a huge difference. It makes an incredibly huge difference. You guys have to try this. Now, I know that with regular contour products, it makes it seem like really complicated, but with this, I know that it looks crazy. I have this like dark line. I'm doing a little darker than I normally would because I want you to see it. But just wait until we blend it, because all it does is leave behind this amazing shadow. Okay, so that is the first place. The next place is our forehead. Now, if you are like me and you have a tall and a wide forehead, we're gonna try to create the illusion with these shadows of the contour of making our face look smaller, our forehead look smaller. So the whole point here is that we want to kind of bring everyone's attention to the center of our face, like our eyes, like that's where we want people to be focusing and not on, you know, how big our forehead is. So everybody's face has its own roadmap for where the contour should go for our forehead. So look for like the highest part of your brow where your arch is. Put your fingers there and then connect them. Now everything outside of where your fingers connect is gonna get your contour. So it's a large part of your forehead. If you have a smaller forehead, it'll be a little bit of a smaller part, but you'll know because we all have arches in our brows. So that's universally good for everyone. Now I cover the whole surface. This does have a little extra on the edge, but I like to just literally swipe that whole part. I know it looks crazy. Stay with me. I'm doing like a thick amount of contour up here because really we're just creating this shadow. I have a hair somewhere. There we go. So this is all going inside of where we had those lines with our fingers, okay? So I'm adding a little bit more. I wouldn't normally, but I'm adding a little because I want you to make sure to see exactly the placement, okay? So everything outside of here has gotten my contour. The next place is, again, on the edge of your brush. Oh my gosh, this hair. I'm just gonna pull it out. It's frustrating me. Is our jawline. Now, I don't have a defined jawline either. So we're gonna start here back behind our ear, and then you're gonna put that along the under part of your actual jaw, okay? So can you see already the shadow that it created there? So now it looks like I have like some chisel from my jaw, but I don't. So that is what we're doing. We're adding a shadow. Right there. Again, we're not blending any of this yet. We're gonna blend that in the end. I just want you to see the placement, and then you'll just kind of end it there under your, see, it's crazy. So crazy. Okay, then the next one is our nose. Now, I would say nose contour is a little bit like, this is all beginner status. Everybody can do this. Nose contour takes a little bit more practice. So if you're not perfect at it the first time, don't worry, keep trying. If you have a perfect little button nose, then you don't need to do contouring, but I don't. I have big features everywhere, including my nose. So again, with this edge of the brush, that's why this brush to me is like hands down, you have to have it for contouring. It's just such a great brush. So I'm going to take that edge. The key here is that you want to put your two lines of contour close together on the actual bridge of your nose. If you put them out here, all that's going to do is make you look like you have a wide, flat nose. So we're trying to create the illusion of a slimmer profile here. So I like to just stamp it on the, see how we have it right there on the edge of our nose. So I stamp it, and then I wiggle it up and I wiggle it down so that we have that line. So then I put a little bit more on the other end of the brush, and I just kind of create this, like I connect that line up to my eyebrow. But see how now you have this shadow right there. So it's already kind of looking slimmer, right? Now we're gonna do close together, very close together, another line. Right here, we're stamping it, wiggling it up, wiggling it. Okay, hold on. I didn't have that angled right. Stamping it, wiggling it up, wiggling it down, okay? And then connecting it over to your eyebrow. Sometimes I just kind of blend this with this side too, just to diffuse, and then you'll take whatever's left on your brush and you're gonna kind of connect it here at the base of your nose, okay? So then it's like this whole part. I know it looks crazy, right? It does. But don't worry, that is our whole first step. That's contouring. And truly, I want you to know, once you have understood exactly where the placement is of all of these, you can do this in 5 minutes. Like truly, you can do it 5 minutes sitting in your car. It's so easy, so blendable. It's just learning the placement is probably the hardest part early on in the beginning. Okay, that's bothering me. Okay, next we're gonna do our main highlight shade, okay? So that is, I like to use, there's multiple brushes that you can use, but I like to use this blush and bronzer brush. It has this fluffy end. This is the one that I use for bronzer. I can show you bronzer if you want to see. And then it has this really nice kind of, these brushes are insanely soft, but it gives just a really great coverage. This is technically for blush, but you can use it for blush and for your highlight. Okay, so the key when you're putting your brush into your compact into your color, into your highlight shade, again, I can give you my recommendations for a highlight shade that will be perfect for your skin tone. Instead of like swiping it, we want to stipple it just like we do on our face. So all that is up and down motions. So I am kind of in between two shades. So I just go 1, 2, this is a lot that I just put on. But then we are gonna do that same thing on our face. Now, just like I gave you that visual for where to put your contour up here, I'm gonna give you another visual using these brushes. So start this triangle here at the base of your chin, and then put this top, you know, at the arch of your brow, okay? And then connect that to make a triangle. Everything, this is just for a visual, okay? But everything inside of this triangle is going to get our lighter, brighter accent highlight shade. Everything outside of that doesn't have contour is going to get our main highlight shade. Now, the reason that we have two is because this is what is going to bring the light dimension to our skin. Like in all of those before and after pictures where those people look like they're glowing, it's not because they're wearing glitter on their face. It's because they have added light and life to areas of their face to make it so that it seems like it's popping out. It's amazing. It's just like, it adds so much light. Okay, so what's awesome about these brushes, I put a lot of product on here. You don't need to put a lot of product. That's one of the things to remember, is just a little bit goes a long way. But see how it's not seeping into this brush? It's really just staying right there, and then it's gonna transfer onto our skin. That's what's amazing about these brushes. They have been made for this product. So this is my main highlight shade. I'm just going to stipple it on. Again, stippling means up and down, up and down, up and down, instead of swiping or buffing. You don't need to do that with this brush. If you wanted to a fuller coverage, you could use this buff brush, and I'll show you that. You do kind of swipe a little bit more with this one. I just put way too much product, but here we go. And then you just kind of see how you can like see the color difference. And then remember, all of these colors have color corrector built in. So you don't have to do that first step that I did, but you can if you want. So with this brush, you are kind of doing that same stipple, but you can swipe it just a little bit more. And this is one of my favorites too, Lisa. I think it gives like a really airbrushed, beautiful finish. So I'll do the buff brush on this side and the blush and bronzer on the other side, and you guys can see the difference. Okay, so then this whole part here is within that triangle. So we're gonna put a brighter color here. So we're just really focusing this shade on all of those areas that are outside, okay? Again, paint, oops. I was supposed to do the blush and bronzer on this side. I get so forgetful, okay? And then we're gonna do just a little like up here where that contour shade meets our highlight, okay? And then, so that's the buff brush, it's amazing. This is the blush and bronzer, just kind of a lighter coverage, kind of more medium, I would say. See how like there's more product here? The buff brush just gets a little bit more product, okay? And then, now I like to use this buff brush on the smaller end for my accent highlight. I think it just gives the most beautiful coverage for that. So that's our second highlight shade. Remember that triangle. Now we're gonna do under our eyes. Now, if you have maturing skin like I do, a new way to put this on is to just focus here on this inner corner. So we really want to brighten up right here, no matter what age we are. Brighten that up. See how this shade is a lot. It's a few shades lighter than our main highlight shade. You want it to be. So instead of just swooping this all the way under like we, have been used to doing our whole life, we're just gonna put some right there and then some here on the edge of our eye. I'm doing kind of a lot because I want you to see the placement there. But see how that already is like giving us a lift? And then you're gonna bring it down the side of your nose. So then this kind of looks like, once you connect this, it kind of looks like a triangle. Now, we notice we didn't put product directly here. That is like where we have really thin skin. And when we're starting to get fine lines and wrinkles, that makeup tends to want to like settle in there. So to avoid that, we're just now going to blend from this side to this side with whatever is there on our skin already. We're not going to add more. We're just blending it together. So then now you're just bringing that, like closing that gap, but then that will ensure that you really just have the most minimal product there, but it still gives you that light. So try that out with the next time you do your makeup. It's such a trick for making sure that, you know, we don't put too much skin on those areas that really don't need a lot of makeup. Okay, so then you can already tell how much brighter that made my face, right? Just right there. So we're gonna do that on the other side as well. Just kind of placing the color here on the inside, placing the color here on the outside. I usually like to take it up because I really want it. I sometimes do this step after I've done my eyeshadow because that will really clean it up, but I'll show you guys that when we get to that step. And then down the side of our nose, and then kind of connect that. So we are gonna have brighter right here on that kind of thicker skin. Okay, and then we're just gonna kind of stipple that across and blend it all together so that center part does get some of the color, but just, you know, not as much. And then we're gonna do our T-zone. So that's right here in this center part of our face. Again, we haven't really blended this in yet. We're just kind of placing the colors. And then I like to take the very edge. You're gonna go down between those two contour lines. You can use your finger as well, like whatever you think. See how thin it makes your nose? It's so crazy. And then right here a little bit, just down the center of our face. Sorry, my husband's, I don't know, talking to his assistant or something. He's a teacher and they're doing progress reports. I'm sure you guys can relate. Okay, so this is, I know it looks crazy, but this is our whole foundation all ready to go. So now we're gonna go back into I like to use this brush. This is our blush and bronzer brush, and we're going to blend in everything. So I like to start with the lighter colors. All you're really doing to blend is just pressing the colors into your skin. Okay, again, no swiping, no buffing. You don't need to do any of that. We're just pressing, making sure that if we had put too much product, that we're really getting it pushed in. Any excess will be picked up by the brush. We're just really focusing all over on this stipple. You can, let's see. It's like this is a stipple, up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay? And then here, and then here, and then the next place is our contour. This is the fun part. This is where the magic starts to happen. So this contour that's here, I like to start with the cheeks. Now, again, remember, we're wanting to lift our cheeks. So I like to start here at the base and then just kind of flick it up, flick it up, flick it up. I do this like, and then I press it in. Flick it up and then press it in. And you have to be careful because as you can see, this contour product is really easy to blend. So if you're not careful, you'll totally over blend it and then you won't be able to see that dimension and that definition. So once you start like noticing it disappearing, just kind of like press it in. I mean, you want it to be blended, but you definitely want to still see that definition. You see that? See how I didn't have that cheekbone before, but now I do? It's so crazy. It's just so amazing. I love it. Okay. And then now we have that side. With your forehead, you're gonna definitely want to like push it up into your hairline. You don't wanna like have like a definite like line where you can tell where that makeup is. So just you're pressing that up into your hairline and then just pushing it into your skin, especially here in those areas where the highlight shade meets the contour. You definitely want to make sure that you can't see a line there. So see how you have a little bit more of that like darker color up front, up at the top, but then it just seamlessly blends into our highlight shade. So when you get to your jaw, now you're gonna blend that down. So again, that same flicking kind of motion all the way down our jawline. And then sometimes I just keep flicking it and then press it in. But see how it still leaves the shadow? So crazy. So when it comes time for your nose, you can kind of go back in with that brush, the small end of the detail brush, and you're just diffusing the lines, okay? It's just like everywhere else. You don't want to completely make them disappear, but you don't want to see the line when you look at your face from the side. So see, you don't want to see the line there. And I'm going to add just a little bit of my highlight shade here to make sure that I have that brightness still. And then if you think you need a little bit more brightness in the center, I like to just use my finger. I feel like I can really tell where to put it. So then just get that there in the center and then lightly press it in with this blush and bronzer brush, okay? So then you still have that kind of chisel, but not, I'm gonna add just a little bit more contour. This is what's awesome. So if you notice that this is when, after you're done blending, I always say, okay, this is when you're gonna want to assess your face. Like look at your face, make sure everything looks exactly like you want it to. Do you have enough contour? Like contour is such a major deal. So because this product doesn't set until you've set it, you can add some. So like I wanted a little bit more definition there, so I just added a little contour. We'll just blend it as we go right there. So I mean, I put like kind of a lot of contour because I love it. I love that it's giving me a cheekbone when I don't normally have one. I mean, it's just amazing. We'll just put a little bit more right here, especially for this video. I want you to see it. Okay, so see how now we have that awesome chisel, and then I go back, blend it in just a little bit, and we're good to go on the next step. Isn't that amazing? It's so fun. That's my favorite part to watch when I'm doing tutorials or when I see other people doing tutorials. It's my favorite step because it just makes such a difference and it just happens right before your eyes. So this is what the magic of this makeup is. Okay, so I have chosen to do kind of more pinks and neutrals, but more pinks today because for like eyes and lips. Because I think that it's spring coming up and that will be a fun, these are like universal colors that everybody loves. So to start, I'm gonna use one of Lisa's favorites, which is Black Cherry. Okay, this color, you guys, look how scary it looks. It looks like it's black. It's not, it's amazing. It's so pretty. So we're gonna do this blush and bronzer brush. We're just gonna tap in a couple times into Black Cherry just to get a tiny bit. And then I like to put my blush right here at the base, like, you know, the apples of your cheek right there. I just place the color first and then I blend it in. So the awesome part about this color, oh, it's so pretty, is that it's like a sheer formula. So you can build it up and put more or less depending on what your preference is. So that is, I mean, I think it's just such a beautiful like color for our cheeks. So now we're just gonna blend that in, again, pressing it in and then kind of blending it up above our contour. So just pressing it in, blending it up. So then that's just adding that really pretty kind of purpley, it's so pretty. So you can, like, if you ever are like, okay, I want that color, but kind of a little bit less, you can mix just like we did with my foundation shade, my highlight shade. You can just press one or two taps of this and then one or two taps of this. I love this combination, Black Cherry and Summer Love. They're so pretty together. And then you can add that. Now, I already did this, so I don't feel like I need to add more, but whatever, here we are. I'll do it very lightly. I'll show you that on your lips as well. So we can use a brush. This is our multitasker brush. It has this like kind of pointy end. You can use that for like lip liner or eyeliner. And this is like a flatter end. And then I like to use that for my lips. So we're gonna use that same Black Cherry color, and I'm just gonna kind of put a little on there and use that as like a liner kind of with this brush. And you'll see how beautiful this color is, okay? So I'm just kind of following my natural lip line. You can use your fingers too, it doesn't really matter, but I find with the darker shades, I kind of like to use a brush. And then we're just gonna kind of blend it into the center of our lips. And then we'll do the same on the bottom. It's very hard to do this into a camera and not a mirror. I know, Lisa, I love a bold cheek too. Okay, and then you can add a little bit to your brush, and then you're just kind of filling it in. So this is Black Cherry. Oh, this is kind of a bolder amount. If you use your fingers, you can just diffuse this a little bit. If you don't like it dark, it's like this color is just so universal. I mean, it's so pretty. Okay. So that is black, just like one layer of Black Cherry by itself. And then we can mix it with Summer Love, which is this kind of pink color, but it's very sheer. But the combination of Black Cherry and Summer Love is one of my favorites. I'm just gonna use my finger, and it kind of is gonna give it sort of like a, just a little bit lighter kind of mauve-y shade. One of my favorite combinations. And they're both glossy, which I love. Okay. So see how that kind of lightened it up, made it a little bit more pink. Summer Love alone is very neutral. Let me show you. It's just like this like kind of sheer pink. You see that? It doesn't have like a ton of color, but it's one of my favorites as we go into spring. It's just such a beautiful neutral shade. Okay, now we're gonna do our eyes, and we're almost done. So my favorite brush to use for brows. Now I have my brows microbladed, but you can see I still kind of need to, now I have the outline, but I kind of need to fill it in a little. So this is our Hotline brush. Can you see how it has that like flat curved edge? It's amazing. You can use it for eyeliner, but you can also use it for brows. I like to use, here it is, Trust eyeshadow for my brows. You can also use your contour. It really depends on what your skin tone is, so I can help you choose the right shade that'll go right into your compact. Okay, so this is also a beautiful eye color, so you can use this for your like eyeshadow, but also for your brows. So the key for brows, you just want to make like a pretty solid line on the bottom across like the whole length of your brow. So we're keeping that pretty, what's the right word that I'm looking for? I don't know. Pretty solid, I guess. That's not really what I was looking for, but you know, strong, I guess. And then for everywhere else, for me, I just kind of make hairs. So I'm gonna add some hairs here in the front. And this brush is so awesome for doing that. It like literally just is the perfect width for making hairs. So you're just kind of filling it in. I always joke about us being victims of the 90s and early 2000s when we all thought it was a good idea to have pencil thin eyebrows. Were you one of them? I mean, I know I was, and that sucked, but here we are. Now we all are like microbladed, and not all of us, but you know, it's very popular now. And we're We only barely have to fill them in, which is nice. Okay, see? So then we'll do the same thing on this side. And then we're just gonna keep filling it in just within the natural arch and just fill it in naturally. But see how that just gives a bolder frame for our face? I love that brows are the perfect frame. Okay, and then for eyeshadow, I like to start with a good base. See, I have a lot of redness there on my eyes as well, my eyelids. So I like to use this Urban Decay Eye Primer Potion. You can get this at like Ulta or I think Sephora too, probably just a little bit there. This is my holy grail. It's a product I can't live without when it comes to my eye makeup. It just helps to make every color look more vibrant, and my eyelids are oily. So it kind of just helps to combat that oil so that you don't have creasing in your eyeshadow. So try this product if you haven't, if you're having like creasing issues or you're like noticing that your eyeshadow doesn't stay all day, definitely try this product. You're gonna love it. Okay. And then our eyeshadow brush, you guys, is the best brush ever. This is like the only eyeshadow brush you'll need for like this whole look. One brush. So this has like a fluffy end and then a denser end. So we are going to use this like middle, except I'm going to also use that. So we're going to use these. These are my favorite colors. So we're going to start with Unicorn, which is a bright white shade. It's not scary though, and you just need a tiny bit. We're going to put that here in our inner corner really lightly. Just a light hand. That'll just kind of help open our eyes up if you're tired. It just brings that light to our face. Okay. And then we're going to go into Lullaby. That's this shade. It's like kind of one of my favorite shades ever. It's like a dusty rose color. It's so beautiful, universally flattering for everyone. It kind of can go neutral or with like a pink and purple vibe, depending on what you want. And we're going to just start it here in our crease, okay? What's awesome about this brush is it just makes easy work. So you're just gonna place that color where you want and then kind of just keep working it back and forth like this. That's called the windshield wiper. You're just kind of moving it. If you notice like that your eyeshadow goes on like kind of skidded, don't worry, just keep blending it. So keep going back and forth like that. If you have a hooded eye, one of the keys to remember is that you want to open your eye and put this color high enough on your brow bone that you can see it with your eye open. Okay, so we're just putting that a little bit higher now, making sure that it's all blended. And then you'll flip it over to this smaller end and we're gonna use that same color on our eye, under our eyes. I like to use my shadow for liner. I find that it's just way more flattering and it kind of is mimicking the same shades that we're using on our eyelid. It just looks so pretty. So now we have taken the same shade and put it under our eyelid that we did on the top. So now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. We're gonna start here in the, see how it looks a little skidded right there? Don't worry, you're just gonna keep blending, okay? So keep blending. Back and forth until you get a pretty comparable amount. And again, we wanna open our eyes and make sure that that color is high enough on our brow bone that we can see it with our eye open. What happens if you have a hooded eye is you spend all this time doing your eyeshadow and then you open your eye and it's just like all swallowed up. So you don't want that to happen. So in order to do that, keep your eye open so that you can still see it. And then we'll again take it kind of under our eye as well, all the way across. I like to do this like as close to my actual lash line as possible. I find that that's the most flattering. So I'm just adding a little bit more over here. Okay, the next color is gonna be Cocoa. That's like a warm brown color, not warm. It kind of has like a hint, I mean, it's brown, but it has a hint of purple. I find that it looks really pretty with this combination. So I'm just gonna do like a couple taps of that. We're gonna focus that here on this outer corner. So you're just gonna kind of build that in right here. And then you can kind of bring it into the center, but you don't wanna go any further than the center of your eye. We're just really kind of contouring our eye. So we're just adding some dimension and depth right here. See how it just kind of made it look a little bit darker right there. You're just adding some dimension. And then we're gonna flip it over again on this side of the brush, just get some on the very end. And just like we didn't put that color further than like the center, we're only gonna focus this here on this outer part and then just kind of blend it into the center. But we're not gonna bring it all the way across. See that? Right there. And then we'll do the other end. If you have a smaller eye, you can use this side to place the darker shade. So I know I have bigger eyes, but I just kind of press it in to start and then sort of blend it in circular motions. And then we can bring it into the center, but not any further than that. And then again, we're gonna put that on this, focus that on our, I think I had some primer on there. Focus that here on this outer end, and then just kind of flick it into the center to blend that in. But see how you don't really need eyeliner when you put your eyeshadow on like this, and then go back and make sure that everything is blended in all over, okay? Isn't that so pretty? I love it. And then the last shade we're gonna use is this one called Soulmate. This one can be used with neutral colors or with pinks and purples. It's one of my all-time favorites. It's called Soulmate. It kind of looks peachy, but when you put it on your eyes, it just is this bright, beautiful color. So I just put a little bit on my my finger. I find that that's the best way to put these like shimmery colors. And you're just going to kind of press it in. Look how bright that is. These colors are so pigmented, it's beautiful. So we're just pressing this into our lid. I know, Lisa, this is like, there are probably 3 to 5 shades that I genuinely believe every single person needs to have in their compact, and this Soulmate is definitely one of them. So is Lullaby. That's the one that we started with. So good. It's just so good. But see how we're just keeping it really light and bright right here? I mean, look how good that is. Oh, it's so pretty. And then go back in with your brush and make sure that you didn't go too high with this, and just blend it in. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this combination. This is like one of my go-to combos that I use on a regular basis. I love it so much. Okay, so now we've done our whole face. We haven't set our makeup yet, so we've given it a chance to kind of warm up on our skin. And then I like to use our Perfector sponge. Normally I get this wet, but I forgot to do that. So I'm just gonna show you, you can use it when it's wet. It like doubles in size or triples. But I like to just go over. Again, with that stippling motion, it'll be a lot more bouncy when you get it wet. But this is going to just go over all of the areas. I really find that this is an essential step. This is our Perfector sponge. It's the best makeup sponge I have ever used. And this is going to pick up any excess product that we have anywhere on our skin. It's also going to help blend and push that product in if there are any places that we're maybe a little too heavy-handed. It just takes off just a little bit of your makeup, but it still leaves this like flawless finish. Now I have a little, like, I had a blemish here, but it's just kind of turned into a scab, so that sucks. I'm just gonna put a little bit of product there over it. Okay. And so now we can use our illuminator. So I like to press everything in first, and then I use my illuminator. I prefer our cream illuminators. Now the powder ones are great. They're great. They're very pigmented, but I think that when you're first starting out, the creams are really forgiving. So this is rose gold. It's just this really pretty natural shade. You're gonna place that here at the top of your cheekbone. Just kind of press it in with your fingers right here. And this just kind of adds light. Like when light like naturally hits your face, it'll just kind of add that nice glow. It's so pretty. And then whatever I have like left on my finger, sometimes I do up here or like right here. And then I add a little bit here on my Cupid's bow. And the cream is so forgiving. It's just gorgeous. So that just kind of made my lip pop a little. See that? You can go back in with your perfector and just make sure that it's all blended everywhere. And then as the last step, you're gonna wanna use a setting spray. We have a setting spray that comes like this. If you like a dewy finish, which hopefully you do, because that's the whole point of this makeup is to have like a really natural, glowy kind of finish, and this setting spray really does well for that. One thing to remember is instead of just barely going down where it gives a lot of product, where like you're just barely touching it, you want to push all the way down, and that will give you obviously still a lot of product, but that'll give you more of a mist instead of a douse. So that's one thing to remember about ours. If you prefer a slightly more matte, lately I've been using, obviously I love this, the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray by Charlotte Tilbury. I think I got it at Sephora. It's awesome. It kind of just takes a little bit of that dew away, like just the whatever is like kind of distracting. Do you want me to show you, I just realized, should I show you guys bronzer before I set this makeup? I kind of feel like my neck needs bronzer, so I'm gonna show you. I wasn't going to, but let's just do it. Sorry for those of you who are here. This is my bronzer color. It's Bella. It's beautiful. It's the best bronzer. It's a cream bronzer as well. And then this is our Glow Illuminator, and I just like to like mix those together. So I just kind of swirl my brush around those two until I get like a nice even coating. And that's probably a little too much actually. And you're just gonna kind of fluff it over the areas really lightly that you would get like a natural tan, okay? So I like to do kind of like here. I mean, I'm barely going over my skin. Up here at the top of my cheekbone. And then I like to bring this, especially in these winter months when my neck is like a little bit lighter, I like to bring this product down my neck and chest to kind of just marry those colors together. So kind of just gives you a little bit of a tan and helps if, you know, because we're kind of getting out of winter, so hopefully we'll be getting our tans back. But in the meantime, we can just kind of use a little bit of this bronzer and just to warm us up a little bit. I feel like that now blended my face so much better with my neck. Okay, so then we're gonna do that setting spray. Oh geez, these hairs. So I like to do a generous spray of this setting spray. So I go all over. I'm really heavy on it. Then you don't touch it, let it completely dry. This is true if you use our setting spray or if you use this one, it doesn't matter. You definitely don't want to touch anything until you have it all dry, okay? And then if you have a little bit oily skin, or you like to just have a little extra insurance on your makeup, you're wearing a mask, whatever, as a last step after the setting spray, I like to use our setting powder. Now this comes in a combination with the brush and the powder for $10 off. If you look in our, I think it's no, it's not the clearance, the bundles tab. So what's awesome about this brush is that it fits right into the tin really easily, and you just get a little of that product, and then you're just going to press it in to the areas of your skin that need a little extra. So for me, that's only ever gonna be like my T-zone. So that's right here under our eyes, really lightly, because again, you don't want tons of product there. My lip gets sweaty when it's hot outside, and my chin, so I just normally put it right here. And again, you don't want to swipe it, because we don't want to disturb all the stuff that we just finished on our face. We want to just lock it in. And then I like to see how my forehead is already a little shiny? So we'll just put a little bit all the way up the center of my forehead, and then here in my T-zone. I always avoid powdering my cheeks and my contour. I find that that really mutes it down, and I really want to keep that area vibrant. I want to have that color there. So if you put powder over your cheeks, it's just going to diffuse it, and then you won't really be able to tell that it's there. So that was the last step, guys. I know that seems forever long, but when you have gotten the hang of it, it really goes fast. I just wanted to like break it down and teach you all the things that make this makeup so great. So I'm excited to help you out with a color match. If you still need one, just fill out that form. You can tag me or Lisa, and we can get that information to you if you can't find it. And if you have any questions, tag me, let me know. I'm happy to help. Yes, Lisa, it's so much faster. I know it seems, I think this, I don't know how long this has been, but I normally take an hour for these tutorials because, you know, I want you to see all of everything. I want you to be able to like watch it again, pause it, and do your makeup with me. All right, girls. So I am all done. I'm going to take a picture and I will post it with all the colors that we used today. Such a fun combination. All right. Thanks, Lisa. I will talk to you guys later. There'll be a few more days of some posts following up, so stay tuned for that. Have a good night.